Welcome, everybody, to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast hosted by two guys who gave The Tomb of Horrors 2 stars on Yelp.
We're just going to breeze past the fact that you fucked up that intro.
I don't know what you are talking about. I mean, I'm going to need to see evidence.
It's recorded,
You know.
dude.
Welcome, everybody, to Too Legit to Crit, a tabletop role-playing podcast hosted by three adventurers whose campaign would conclude at You Meet in a Tavern. Hosted by two people who 100% would unwittingly bring about the apocalypse. A tabletop role-playing podcast hosted by a few individuals who, unlike your average Wizards of the Coast executive, we're proud of what our contributions to society are. A tabletop role-playing podcast hosted by two guys who were clearly victims of the spell Power Word Incompetence. A tabletop role-playing podcast hosted by two adventurers who know that the real reward are the friendships we made along the way. That's where your adventure would end. My adventure would end going back to the tavern to get another idiot to go in the cave for me.
Oh.
See, that's the thing. Because in real life, John is the bard. He gets you to do the thing, and then he tells the story.
I'm learning a lot about I don't say manipulative in a malicious way, but
the good kind of
up.
manipulative.
Yeah,
The
right.
good
yeah.
kind of
the good
manipulation.
kind. No, it's just that word keeps coming up a lot, and I have noticed.
I like to consider it as subtle encouragement.
I want to not like that, but it's kind of perfect.
I mean, to be fair, he's not forcing me to do anything I wouldn't probably do anyway.
Exactly. I may be expediting the process.
Yeah. I am one of these people that if you dare me to do something, I'm going to do it.
You know.
That is why I know what a light bulb tastes like, because I licked the light bulb in the Alex once.
Stop. Did you really?
Yeah,
I had nothing to do with that.
That had nothing to do with John. This was long before we met.
Immediately, it wasn't me.
This was long before we met. Basically, it was one of those like outdoor like heat lampy light bulbs.
Okay.
And someone was like, I wonder what that tastes like. I was like, I don't know. There's only one way to find out, really. And they're like, what? I was like, taste it. And they're like, I dare you. I was like, all right. So I did.
See, I'm a weird mix because if someone dares, like my peer pressure resistance is strong, but at the same time, like the reverse psychology really works on me.
Well, that's the thing, right? When it comes to peer pressure, I don't give in to peer pressure because it's got to be something that I would probably do anyway, right?
Right. Yeah.
But like, I also like I don't have that little part in my body that goes, hey, you should probably be embarrassed to do that. I don't have that.
Oh.
I
I don't get embarrassed easily, no.
Like
One of my friends in Georgia who I had a pool when I was a kid. Like our backyard had a big pool in it. It's a pool. And it started raining, right? We had a pool party. It started raining. I shit you not, guys. The most serious deadpan face he had. He goes, it's raining. Starts raining. He goes, guys, quick, get in the pool before we get wet. And he jumps in the pool. And a couple of people were like, yeah, jump in the pool. Without putting two and two together. And we're all going,
no,
what?
It's a different wet. It's different wet. I'm
It's-
with your
it's-
friend on this one.
There's
It's
good wet.
It's a different kind of wet.
There's good wet,
Pool wet is better than rain wet. They're
and then
different.
there's bad wet. So
Yeah.
pool wet, good
It's-
wet.
It's different. I will not be taking questions. I agree with your friend.
I'm inclined to agree as well.
so I'm not even gonna, no, I'm not gonna.
There's pool wet.
Okay. Good to know. Pooling wet is good.
Pool
Raining
wet, good.
is bad.
Rain wet, bad. Except
I love-
hot summer
no,
nights, rain wet, good.
I love playing in the rain though. Like I'll just go hang out in the rain. Like if it's raining outside, I will walk my ass outside and just stand in the rain and hang out.
I'm a bit like that, especially like in the summer sort of thing. It's like, it's pissing it down, I'll be out. It's great.
Yeah.
Okay, so to really drive home the different kinds of wet, because I feel like that's going to be a thing now. But
Yeah. I
would
can
you
just
say
see everybody like, what?
Yeah.
What?
Would you say like having a shower and being in the rain is the same?
No.
But they're both water falling. It's a different kind of wet.
I know it's a different kind of wet. Just the fact that there's good wet and bad wet. Wet is wet. Like
I rest my case.
Oh,
No, because
I mean,
one you
Connell-
welcome, one you don't.
Connell is implying something in the chat, and Connell, I am trying my very hardest to not go down that route.
same. I'm like, why are we talking about levels of wet? Like, what the?
Because Justin wouldn't understand. Sorry, I really fucking had to.
No, I wouldn't. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm sweet and innocent.
All right, but also in no way that someone
It's-
wants to hear a book narrated by
Well-
my northern arse.
I
that-
will
that's
pay
quite
you
literally
to
what I get
narrate
paid
Winnie the
for.
Pooh.
I get no.
If we do
No.
Patreon, that can be a stretch goal.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, if we get like let's say $500 a month, Justin
No.
narrates Winnie the Pooh.
Yeah.
No.
I tell you, if we do 1,000, I will play D&D 5e.
Oh shit.
Yes. I will run that.
Yeah, but yeah, we need to actually set up a Patreon.
We need to set up.
First.
Yep, that needs to. Yeah. There are
My brain
steps
just
to
went
this.
a million
but, yeah.
different miles and different like. Why? We should. Oh, I should say this. Never mind.
All right, yeah, this is an open forum.
Do
Say it.
Say it. Say it.
Why are we doing
Say
Patreon?
it.
Because at that rate, we should just do OnlyFans, where it's like.
No, I've said this. Right?
But not like typical content.
No.
you know.
Yeah, not that kind of content, right?
Yeah,
but
no.
the content that we do would be like, it would be like revealing GM stuff, right? So instead of like revealing photos, it's like behind the screen stuff.
So, you just have a GM screen covered in post-its and go,
Yes. It would literally be like, you know, like those boards where it's just like the fucking red twine everywhere.
Exactly. We could have like. Oh yeah, I'm here for it. This is gonna be good.
Yeah.
just have like a. Just have like a.
Did we all hear that? Did we all
Yeah,
hear that?
that came through, and that came through on every fucking thing.
What is that?
It was just, for me, it was the like, yeah, so what we need to do. Yeah, so what we need to do.
Put vibrators on. Come on. Like,
John's.
Yep, sorry.
It was all the wet talk. Got him going.
That's it. We were talking
Oh.
about mud and wet and hot dogs.
this is horrible. We need to clean up our act. This is.
that we were working on. I want to take these rules and I want to run space and I want to run horror and I want to run cyberpunk and I want to run steampunk, or
Yeah.
Victorian. You know, I never played GURPS. I had the books. I loved
Yeah.
the book. I occupied and amused myself with the GURPS books that I had, but I never played it and I never ran it. But that, I guess, that idea of a universal system stuck with me. So I started running alternate games in different genres and different settings using the same rules. As a matter of fact, I was in with my group one time. We said, well, we love Shadowrun as a setting, but we can't stand the rules. So we basically filed the serial numbers off of Shadowrun and used the Persona rules
Yeah.
to play Shadowrun. So
That seems to be quite a common a common opinion with people who, I mean, unless you are a Shadowrun fan, a lot of people just kind of go, no, you wanna stay away from the rules of Shadowrun. They are this, that, and the other.
Yeah.
But the setting itself has always been really, really warmly received.
yes.
I've never tried it, and I nearly got a Humble Bundle a few months back, and I can't remember whether it was 4th or 5th edition, and I asked questions, and I was advised not to bother, which is, you know,
Well, one of the cool things about second edition is that it was so the game itself was great, and the fiction of the setting and everything was great, but they did such a great job of their supplement books being so richly immersive. So like in Shadowrun, you have these types of characters called street samurai, which actually all originates, I believe the term originates from William Gibson's book Neuromancer, which is kind of it's the most popular, if not the book that put cyberpunk on the map.
Yeah.
And the whole idea of a street samurai is that, you know, he's the lone wolf. He's got all the cybernetic augmentation, and he follows a code, very much like Bushido. So, you know, he's an independent operator. He takes jobs from mysterious, shadowy figures, but he still follows this code, even though it's just a personal code. He doesn't, you know, work for any kind of any corporation or any organization for long.
Yeah.
So the Street Samurai catalog was, okay, we're going to take and we're going to offer, you know, it was a book of guns and gear, basically. But every entry was like you were reading it on the Matrix, which was its name for the internet, or the, you know, the World Wide Web. It had commentary from NPCs. The graphic design made it look like you were looking at a computer terminal. That was what was so great about second edition. Then when they went to third, they started getting away from that. And I mean, I haven't looked at Shadowrun since third edition, so I don't know where it stands right now. But the rules were always just very complicated.
Yeah.
And also too, I've also grown kind of less fond of giant buckets of dice type games. So I guess I don't know. We were all in agreement that we loved the lore and that we loved the fiction, but we hated the rules, and we just decided to use different rules. Multi-number, and you accrued successes. So you might roll 10 six-sided dice, 10d6, and your difficulty is 5. So every 5 that you roll on a die is a success, and then you count up successes. In the West End Star Wars game, which was the D6 system, which still technically exists, because I believe it was released under an open license. And I know that people have there's like Mini 6 and things like that that are still out there, and people still play with the D6 system. You add. So if you have a skill of 10 dice, you roll 10 d6 and you add them together. And I got to the point where I just got tired of all that addition. I
mean, that when you're dealing with that many d6, it does get to the point of being cumbersome. I remember Pathfinder First Edition, especially when we kind of got to higher levels. One of the party was a ranger, and they'd taken every feat possible for archery, and it got to the point of just being absolutely ridiculous, where he would roll his damage and then we'd have to go on to the next player while he worked it out.
Right. So to give you an example of that, I started a phenomenon amongst my home group, because I went away to college in Pennsylvania, to university, in the late 90s, and fell in with a group out there away from home that played D&D. When I left university and came home back to my parents' house, I put together a group to play with at home, and had said that, you know, all these guys, I'm sure they would have a blast playing D&D together, and invited the ones from Pennsylvania and from Delaware to come up and meet my New Jersey friends. And that became a phenomenon known as CraigCon, and as a phenomenon that has existed now for over 20 years.
That's amazing.
And it's not nearly as big as it was, and it now happens in Pennsylvania rather than the guys from Pennsylvania driving to New Jersey. So now that I live in North Carolina, I fly up for it, because it's I don't want to say it's like it's about a 10-hour drive roughly for me to get to Philadelphia nowadays. But anyway, so we had people who really enjoyed min-maxing and wanting to see just how ridiculous they could get their D&D characters. So we started an event known as the Battle Royale, where we would, in tournament fashion, we would make these characters, we would have the basic D&D rules, and then, you know, you can only use these supplements, or you could choose 2 supplements. We would create the rules around the rules.
Yeah.
You know, this is how you generate your ability scores, and so on and so forth. And then once you had those guidelines, you made your character and you basically went into pit fight and mode. Our very first one lasted from 9 p.m. Started 9 p.m. Saturday night and lasted until 6 a.m. Ran through the night till 6 a.m. That was the very first battle royal, and it was ridiculous because we were just everybody was so kitted out that that's how long it took to get to a clear winner.
Yeah. Man, that's fucking insane.
Yeah, because last week would have been the 52nd week, which would have been technically the week before the year anniversary, because that was the last week. So yeah, so this is technically actually our anniversary.
Yeah, it is. So happy anniversary.
Right back at you. Did you get me
I haven't
anything?
got you any. I haven't got you anything. I haven't got you anything.
This was fun. We had a good run.
No, that's it. You know. But I thought we could actually take a bit of a trip down memory lane.
Oh God.
Yeah, I also have like a few sort of well wishes from people that I'm going to be reading out as well.
Aww.
Some of them were like, I read them and it's like, oh, I'm going to choke up. Like my cold black heart.
As long as we don't bring up a certain bear, I'll be fine.
The bear's gonna make an appearance.
No, I don't have the capacity in my voice to rant about that bloody bear today. I just don't.
We'll take another week off. It's fine.
I can't afford another week off of work.
In other news, I managed to put my foot in it on Threads, massively.
I saw something. Is it the thing that I think it is that you put your foot in it with?
Probably not, because I don't regret that at fucking all.
Which one did you put your foot in it with?
Okay, so our good friend Stefan.
Yes.
All right. He made a post. I can't remember the exact logistics of the post. And it was something along the lines of, in this whole tabletop role-playing community, we are not competing. We are, we're working together. We're trying to help kind of build people up, and which could not agree with you more, 100%. However, he ended that particular thread on something like along the lines of, I don't compete unless it's on a treadmill. So, me always having to try and be the funniest person in the room.
Yeah.
I responded to, I'd fucking take you on a treadmill. Which we're all very aware that is not the case. We're all very aware that, in terms of peak physical fitness, Stefan's got that one hands fucking down. So it became a bit of a laugh. And our other friend Atlas, who we've mentioned on the show, and we've
many
seen her
times,
artwork, which is fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
She decided to chime in and say, oh, that would be really great. Let's get on. So, long story short, I am now part of what is called Fellowship of Fitness, where we are going to walk from Rivendell to Mordor.
We?
Not we. No, I haven't included you. I
was going to say, there's no fucking we in this shit.
No. No, and I say we, it's myself, Stefan, Atlas, the guys from Crossing the Nerdverse, Canel, Tess, and 27 other people.
Well, still think you're dumb for doing that.
Of course I'm fucking dumb for doing that.
Oh my gosh.
I wanted to wind Stefan up, and it bit me in the arse.
Oh, let's be honest, we knew this day was going to come. You were going to say something slick to someone, and it was going to get you into exercise. And here you are.
I mean, to be honest, the amounts of shit I say.
If it was bound to happen at some point.
Yeah, if exercise is kind of the worst side effect of that.
Oh.
I did manage to piss some people off last week, but it's fine.
Yeah, we won't go into that one because you know that I have a different opinion.
But anyway, I stand by it. Fuck it.
You're entitled to your opinion. But yeah, no, it's just been such a weird journey as well, man. Like, to think that all of this started because I think it was like it was after a session or something as well. That we had that chat. Like, I think we'd done something and then we hopped in a Discord call afterwards to discuss like Obsidian and helping me get some stuff set up for my campaign. And it was just like off the back of that, like to go to where we are now, it's crazy.
I mean, speaking of threads, I mean, I've just got some well wishes because I did put it out into threads that we are celebrating a year. We got congratulations, that's amazing. That was from Grim Maven Maps. And Therapy and Dragons are just giving us a good solid way to go. I mean, follow these people. If if you are on threads and you get a chance to follow these people, just do so because they're fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And Catcher just put something in the chat that because of him coming on that show, we are now playing a weekly Fabula game.
Yes. Well, bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly.
Yeah, bi-weekly.
Bi-weekly. But yeah, so, we because of that, we went from, there's this system here
to now we play it every other week.
Yeah, now we play it every other week and we're thoroughly enjoying it.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. I love it. And yeah, I think it's as well, like it's really helped me look at other systems and play other systems as well, which was something that I wanted to do. But like it's always one of those that's really hard to find something to play, if you know what I mean, because there's loads of systems out there, but without like somebody to show you the door, it can be really daunting at the same time because there's so many out there, right?
Yeah. No, yeah, I completely get that.
Because like you come into the hobby and most people will come in through D&D. I know that hurts you to say, but most people do come into the hobby through that doorway, right? And then the minute you look down the corridor and you see just how many other doors there are to go through, that's what I think. Honestly, I feel that's why a lot of people they open that door, look down that hallway at all of these other possible doors, just close the door and just stay in D&D because it's too daunting to them.
I mean, having that experience myself, like having been in that position, because it wasn't D&D for me, it was Pathfinder.
It was Pathfinder, yeah.
And it was a case of I don't understand. I don't. This system isn't rolling a D20. How is it going to work? This system isn't doing what I'm used to it doing.
Yeah.
It's not. It doesn't work like that. How 2d6? What the fuck?
Yeah.
And it is sort of like a fear of the unknown.
Yeah, no, that's literally it, yeah.
And to be honest, as much as I love Pathfinder and Pathfinder 2nd Edition, stepping away from them and learning other systems, best fucking thing I ever did.
Well, absolutely. I mean,
not only because I learned other systems, but it also informed how I would play Pathfinder. It helped my role play. It helped,
Slithery things kept touching me. I didn't like it.
Which nothing to do with me.
No, that had nothing to do with you. I will give you that. I don't want to give away too much for when we actually air it. Because it's such a good story. That was a good story. I loved it. But we are inmates of a high supers persona. What's the word? Penitentiary.
Penitentiary, probably a good word.
Jail. Yeah. And we are let out on field duty to kind of like earn our way out. We have been given a chance by the warden to prove ourselves. And so we are set on a mission, and there's this forest fire, and they think it might be related to a superhuman or entity of somehow. And we need to A, figure out what started it, and B, make sure that the town that it's surrounding is safe. That was our mission. None of that went with the way that just No. People got thrown through walls. I don't care if he was already dead.
He was already dead.
It doesn't matter. It was the nonchalantness that you just tossed him.
There you go. My character cannot, can't always control his strength. He just grabbed it and went, oh. He ended up going through a wall.
Okay. But yeah, no, our characters were faced with, I don't even want to say a moral dilemma. It was more of we were in the battle of a situation, and your character was faced with a choice, and you chose poorly.
I did not. Everything that happened was accidental. The fact that your character suspects my character is a different matter.
Gee, I wonder, maybe because my character took the fucking fall for what you did.
I must say, Liberator, it has to be one of my favorite characters I've ever played.
To be for real, like we did not know, like Connell and I, when we were talking about running Mutants and Masterminds, how good this was going to be. It's always good. He's a great DM. He's a great GM. We didn't know how well our friends, like you and Stefan and Justin, we didn't realize how well we were all going to play together and click together. So, like, it's so much fun. I've yet to play with you guys and be like, okay, I'm so zoned in whenever we play together. It's so much fun.
I remember, because obviously this is a semi-pre-gen that Connell conjured up based on conversations we had. And I just remember having that moment of inspiration when we were talking to Connell, and he was giving us the options, and I chose the options, and I went, I've got an idea. And I ran it past him, and he went, yeah, that's good. Yeah, it's a boss fight. I'm going to try and kill your characters. That's what they're there for.
Yeah. I don't know what's wrong with me. I create these encounters that are like so simple and chill and fine and easy and should not be a problem. And it almost party wipes them every single time. I come up with this really hard, complex fight. I blow through it.
That is the curse of being a GM. That is always going to happen to you.
It's okay.
And sometimes you'll create an encounter, you'll create it difficult, and then halfway through you kind of go, ooh, maybe I overdid it.
That's what I'm worried about. So in a month you'll hear about whether I just killed everybody off on accident or not.
The creature I chose for what was the final boss of my home campaign, I had to pull punches massively. Because by the numbers, it was a tough fight. It was a severe fight. So they weren't going to hit it very often, and it was going to hit them. But this thing had some insane abilities where it could, as an action, anybody within 120 feet, if it succeeded at an athletics check, brought them within 30 feet automatically and paralyzed them. Then, because like in second edition, when your turn starts, you regain your reactions.
Yeah.
You get 1, perhaps 2, depending on class. This one was getting 99 reactions per turn to use for attacks of opportunity. So everything was provoking. So I was purposely, I didn't see you do that provoked, and I just kind of moved on. But yeah, I could have fucking wiped him, and it was like,
oh man. I know, like, my campaign storyline is written. Things can change, whatever, but I know the mechanics I'm gonna use for the last fight. I don't know how we're gonna get there. I don't know what all is gonna still be in play when we get there, but I know the mechanics which I want to use for that big moment. Yeah. I don't know if I can pull it off.
Like, hey, of course you can.
I'm like, because it doesn't, like, I've never seen anyone do it, so I'm sure someone has. Can't really say much because players, but
I will offer my services.
Yeah,
where you can just get me in a chat and just go, this is what I've got planned, and I will be brutally honest, and I will say that might work, that might not, and I will give you my honest opinion.
Yeah, because like it's so simple. It makes sense. Like, this is easy, right? That now I'm like, why have I not seen anyone do this though then? Because like,
yeah, well, if you haven't seen anyone do it, you may be the first. Can go for it. I think you should. But I'm gonna. Any doubts, just ping me a message.
Will do.
And
And
I
that's
will.
it fits with my storytelling style. Like that is the thing. I'm not trying to push outside of like, oh, I would never. No, it fits. So I feel like I can do it, but at the same
No,
time, like, whoa,
I'll give you honest feedback.
awesome.
You could put Jody's dice in a sock and beat that player who broke your
Seriously, but like that's great marketing. First of all, like yeah, her dice wouldn't have done that, but like that's amazing. That's like the fact she just threw a video of like, hey, chunk.
Just a quick shout out to everyone in the chat. Thanks ever so much for joining. But one comment has just grabbed me, and it's Eric Lazur has said, "My dice."
My dice.
Yeah, that's my editor, and like they're right there, and the box is still sealed. I was like, I'm gonna show them. Oh no, it's sealed. I'm gonna leave them there. Like it's your dice.
That's fantastic.
But yeah, Eric was the editor for Stoneburner, and then like he's been editing everything I've written ever since. He's another amazing human being.
Well, shout out to Eric. Thank you for editing because this is amazing stuff.
Yeah,
right?
we are. I'm blown away by some of this.
Yeah.
So I massively interrupted you with the dice thing. So we were talking about that, like the journey,
the timeline,
the Stoneburner took place. Sorry.
Yeah. So yeah, like Stoneburner, I was like really trying to finish it up, and then by like around fall, I think. The game was finished and was sent to the printer. So now it's just a matter of like the printer doing their job, shipping it to the distributor, and then the distributor shipping every copies to like the backers. So it's a bit out of my hands at that point. So I was like, well, I guess I can start designing new things again. So I was actually talking with Eric, and the artist we partner with at Fire Pages. He's called Galen Peugeot. He's another like amazing person. Like Eric, Galen, and I, we're now a trio. Like we're a dream team, if you ask me.
I love that. That's great.
But I started talking with both of them, and I was like, okay, I have an idea for a system. I still don't know what the setting's going to be. This is like the gist of the base mechanics. It's still not there yet. It was still like a Google Doc or a Notion document at some point. I was like, it's not clicking. I'm almost there. I know I want to introduce cards and OSR together and merge them together. I don't know how it's going to work, but I have like this idea that just won't resolve itself. And eventually it clicked, and I wanted to make like this game about we still want to do it at some point, but we wanted to make like this game where you were like bugs, but like samurai kind of bugs, like trying to like discover the world. It was like a weird thing, but like I'm not going to talk too much about it, but like Songs and Sagas was supposed to be that thing, and then that thing was like, oh my god, it's going to take so much time because we have to explain so many things about this world.
Yeah, just your exoskeleton in general.
Yeah.
Like what?
So I was like, okay, so that's not going to work, and I was playing a video game called Kingdom Two Crowns with my wife, which is like this very cool little co-op game where you're like the leader of a kingdom and you start with nothing and you grow your kingdom, and they have this Norse lands expansion, and I was listening to the music of that game, I was playing that game, I was like, I can make a Viking game, and then it became more than that, obviously. But yeah, so that's like what has happened. Like Stoneburner was finished and out of my hands, and it was in the hands of my distributor. I started playing around with like this bug game, and then it evolved into Songs and Sagas, and then we released like the playtesting version in like I think January of this year. It has been pretty much done for like the past 2 months. I've just been busy with other things. I was like, okay, like it's time to release it. I don't feel comfortable releasing it. Stoneburner was such a success. I don't think I can reproduce that again. But like, here goes. Like, I hope you like it. This thing is like $3. Like, if you like it, like, I have no words. Let's just like take it. I need it out of my hands. It needs to be done and over. I need to pass to something else or see if this thing works. And it worked.
It really works.
It certainly has worked.
Yeah.
So going back to Stoneburner for a second, because obviously you were saying that Stoneburner like exploded more than you expected. Did you have a similar result with Breathless, or did Stoneburner like bring Breathless up? Because they're based on the same system, if I'm not mistaken.
Breathless was already, I'd say it was already up before Breathless. It wasn't at the same scale in terms of both like number of players or hype or like funds raised or anything. But it has been kind of like its own phenomenon, as in like I was participating at a local game jam we have like this thing called the Draconis Festival, which is the biggest TTRPG festival in the province.
Love the name, by the way.
That's so cool.
I
Festival. Okay.
was participating at the game jam for that festival, and then it was like a con, right? And I had made Breathless. I thought it was cool, and when I released it, it was a judge. There was a panel of judges who were judging all of our games, and Breathless didn't even make it the top 3. It got
on other systems. I kind of want to pick your brains a tiny bit regarding the game jam, regarding the Songs and Sagas game jam, specifically because you've worked with someone that we know pretty well, that we've referenced a few times on the show, and that's Andrea from Print and Play Games.
Yeah,
they've made a VTT for your system. Holy shit!
That was my reaction too. I don't think there are many systems out there, and we're even talking like the big ones. We're even talking like the big corporate, baby stealing Wizards of the Coast systems. They don't have their proprietary VTT.
Yeah.
But you've brought out thing. You opened up the game jam, and Andrea just went, "Yeah, all right, let's make a VTT for this."
Yeah, and
that's insane.
He's like super chill. Like he came into our Discord and he's been like super active, and like he at some point he was like, "You should make like a VTT for Songs and Sagas." And like I'm a software engineer. I'm a like front end engineer. Like I know how to make cool web applications, and I made my own VTT, and it's open source, and it's been used by like 5,000 people every month for like the past 4 years, and like. Wow. I know about this stuff, and when he pitched me the idea, I was like, I don't have the time. It's going to take me, like, so long. And then a couple of days later, he and one of his friends, they reached out. It was like, can we hop on a call? We have something to show you. And then they showed me this thing, and it's not just a VTT, it's fully illustrated, and it works. You can roll dice, you can reveal cards and everything, all interactive, and then there's like music, and I'm like, sound effects. I'm like, okay, this is another level. I wasn't ready.
I think some kind of cowboy campaign.
Zarosaurus.
I would.
Zarosaurus is just put in the chat, when you get out of a chair,
it's laughing. I mean, the
fucking love that.
The flaw with that logic, as John well knows, is I regularly stand up when we're playing at the table. So does that mean that I'm LARPing every session?
Yes. It's even weirder when he gets his penis out. We're trying to roll here, Justin. I mean, come on, dude.
It's weirder when I don't.
We're in the middle of combat.
Yeah, I think Cowboys, holodeck, because that would just be awesome. And actually, what Couch has just put, I would actually be absolutely up for. Some kind of force feedback for damage mechanics would be really cool as well.
As in, you kind of feel like a haptic.
Yes, like when you if you get hit, like you feel like a little on your shoulder and stuff like that. Like that would be quite cool. I think that would be my, if I could do absolutely anything, it would be that.
I honestly, this may be the older person in me speaking, but I would not. I'd lose interest in that really quickly.
Yeah, but that's because you suck.
I'd be there just kind of going, can we just go back to rolling dice on a fucking table?
You can.
No, it's like not
the
real dice.
Portable.
No, fuck it.
You can roll real dice.
No. I mean, for me, I've always wanted to run a superhero thing. Haven't quite delved into systems too much, so I'm not quite certain which system I would choose. But it would definitely be superhero, and if I did have the sort of the technology, for me it'd still be pen, paper, and dice. But the technology I would have would necessarily be a technology. It would be more a resource where I would have someone as a producer, just someone behind me, just to kind of go, right, we're gonna watch this video, and it'd be a video of whatever's going on, and then you are in a tavern, all of a sudden the producer goes, well, tavern music. And
so off the back of that, actually, what would be really cool would be to run 2 games simultaneously, where one game is playing the villain for the other game.
I think we've touched on this a couple of times now.
We have. Now, because obviously this is no holds barred, you've got the technology and the ability to do this, we could, right? And that means that everything this game is doing is trying to thwart this game, and this game is trying to destroy the world, or whatever the plan is, right? I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, I mean, I don't see how technology would make that any easier, because it's still going to be a bit of a
fictional technology. Make up some technology to do it, where whatever, because obviously while this group is making decisions, it could be feeding into what the DM for this group is seeing on their screen. So this group is making the decision to set this trap. Cool. So now on the entrance through this doorway, there's a trap now.
So you're talking about simultaneously?
Yes, literally simultaneously.
Oh, okay. All right. I'm following you.
So not like one day we play this game, one day we play this game. I mean, like, side by side in the next room, villains playing heroes.
Well, if we're technology, we don't need to be in the next room. We can be on opposite sides of the earth.
Yeah.
That technology exists.
It does. It does exist. I think that would be really cool. So essentially, both DMs are working off of the same Google Doc or spreadsheet or whatever.
We're talking about fucking holodecks, and you go Google Doc.
It's what I've written my game in. Piss off. But yeah, they're working on the same shared workspace essentially. So whatever the villains do directly influences what the GM for the heroes sees, and likewise, whatever the heroes are doing is piping straight through to the DM on the villain side.
Well, if we're talking fictional technology, let's go batshit insane. Let's do a clone with a hive mind.
Yeah.
Boom. Problem. There you go. Let's start working. Let's start working on that.
Right. Let me just ring Wizards. I'm sure they've made a start already.
No, they haven't. Wizards will have.
Absolutely.
Wizards will have copied.
It's free labor. Yeah, clone copied. Same thing.
Nah, I mean
they copy their stuff so they don't have to pay them twice.
It's not seedy. It's not seedy enough for that shitty company. By the way, that's the way I'm going to refer to them. What was it?
I like that. What Zara's just put in the chat. They could be from different kingdoms. Both are evil and both think they are good.
Yeah, I mean it's relative morality, which is, to be honest, someone actually posted a question. I didn't actually answer, and I should have done. Someone posted a question on Threads, and it was, "What is a recurring theme in your games?" Mine is always relative, relative morality. So even when the players face a villain, depending on how you look at it, there's always
they kind of got a point.
There's always the I mean, there was the guy who gave adventurers false flags, who then would go die and he'd go loot their shit, and his logic was, they're fucking dumb enough to go into these situations.
Well, I mean, the one for me that I think is a really good example of that is Thanos, right? In Endgame and Infinity War and stuff, because the reasoning behind, snapping and eliminating half of life in the universe was because there's not enough resource, right? So if he doesn't do that, everyone's gonna die. Now, yes, there's the argument of he could have snapped and just doubled the fucking resources. I didn't say he was smart, but I see where he's coming from.
I mean, don't
not
get
enough people get rid of the people.
Don't get me wrong.
Didn't
don't get me
have
wrong.
the
I would
process of not enough people just double the resource, but whatever.
I would Thanos the shit out of the universe, but that would just be
absolutely.
That would just be because to get rid of the people. I don't give a shit about resources.
Yeah, I hate people.
They'd be like, no.
I wouldn't even do half.
I just walk down the street and anybody who looks at me funny would be like,
bye.
And I'd go about my day.
Yeah.
Endeavor is fun.
Yeah.
This is why I do it. I don't do it for any other reason other than I enjoy doing it.
Exactly.
And the moment that stops, then I'll stop. I'm not
right.
I'm under no illusion of that. But it's still a lot of work.
Yeah. Well, sometimes those things that like brings us joy is hard work. Like I keep talking about all these things I have to do, and it sounds like, oh, I have all these things I have to do. I have to reset my game. I have to do all this art. I have to. I love doing it. I want to do it. I just need to move. I need to move and get settled, and then everything will be fine. But it is what it is, and that's the thing. Is if you're still finding joy out of it, that's what matters. So
yeah, that's it. It's that I think that's the important thing. It's being able to find the joy, and once that balance is kind of restored, you can carry on.
Yeah,
but it is important to take a step back from time to time.
It really is, really, really is. Absolutely. Like people think stepping back is like, oh, I'm failing. No, you are actually probably doing better than most people.
Yeah,
so, yeah, but I was gonna go somewhere. My brain was like, oh yeah, and it just.
Yeah, so Connell just reminded me that this was unlisted. I've made the stream public now, so
we're good at this.
We're good. Yeah, we're good.
Thank you, Connell.
But to be honest, thanks to fucking Riverside, that's taking care of the technological side of things.
Listen, I'm in awe of what you do. I used to do videos of gaming and videos of art streams, which I actually want to get back into again after I move. I'm gonna sound like a broken record, but all of the stuff that goes behind streaming and edit, dude, you've got it. Like you're fine. You're doing great. You're doing wonderful.
I mean, to be honest, a lot of times it's I'm either preparing games. I mean, a lot of people will come up to me and kind of go, "Oh, have you seen this show?" And it's like, no. I don't have time to watch TV. My way of relaxing is sitting down in bed with my laptop and starting, okay, I need to edit this and I need to work on a new track for an upcoming show or some artwork.
Yeah.
That's the way I relax.
I have to be creative. So as long as I'm being creative in some sort, I can relax. I took on this absurd task. I'm making this Afghan right now. I don't know why in the midst of me moving, I decided it was great to make a giant ass Afghan. But, Lord, the chat just blew up.
Yeah, big shout out to, obviously, Connell, who's been with us, and also Inadequate Dungeon, who's just joined us.
Yes!
Inadequate Dungeon is now on our team.
Yes, he is on our team.
He is on our team.
Yeah.
They are no longer nemesis.
He has seen the light. He is on our team. And he's very right. You have, I just saw that. Remember, you do it for yourself.
100%.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that's the thing is when creating Halo in Mutants and Masterminds, and this does really, I promise it comes full circle. I was thinking of all these cool characters that could make them be entertaining to watch, or these cool characters that everyone would love to play against and everything. And I'm like, what I ended up doing was I played a character that I've always wanted to play. Or built a character. I was like, I've always wanted this. And I also really wanted, this is gonna sound super cheesy. Okay. I remember growing up, the X-Men made me feel like I was normal. Like the cartoon.
Fair.
It was one of those things where I was like, oh, the people that are different are okay and they're normal. So getting to create a character for myself that's like, hey, being different is okay and normal. It was kind of like a nod back of hey, do this for yourself. Do this for yourself or people like you that will get something out of it the same way you did. So
yeah, I mean, like Liberator for me, it was
no, whatever you're about to say, no.
No, I mean,
that's gonna be a trigger word from now on.
I mean,
so it's gonna be like, we need to liberate.
I think that is kind of why I did step away from the Pathfinder thing, because I wasn't doing it for me anymore. I was doing it because it was a responsibility. I was doing it because, you know, I had these players that I needed to organize games for, and it just got to a point of where I wasn't enjoying the system. I want to play what I want to play. I want to enjoy doing what I do. And, you know, doing this I enjoy. Whereas doing other things, not so much.
I have a question for you then.
Yes.
When did you first play a tabletop role-playing game and you realized, oh, I love this? Like, what did it happen? Like, smack the first episode or session, or was it like what made you realize this is something you wanted to do for you?
I don't know. It was weird. I don't think I had that eureka moment, as it were. You know, we started playing with Scott years ago now.
Yeah.
And even then, like the early days, I can remember it feeling a bit like a chore. Because I'd made a commitment. It was like, yeah, gotta do this, gotta do that. But bit by bit, that kind of fell away. And I realized that during, like, between sessions, I was thinking about my character. I was thinking about leveling up. I was thinking about which direction I wanted to go in. And there were all these things. And I was picking up the book a lot more frequently. And I was flipping through it and just kind of... And I had to... And like I say, I don't think there was a eureka moment. But looking back now, it's like, fuck yeah, I was addicted.
You're buying on streaming services. Like, what if those, like, decide to discontinue or whatever? Like,
I have backups.
I know, but what if your backups crap? I am that person. I have 5 fail-safe what ifs. I am in therapy for this reason. But
no, but I mean, I've got my iCloud, I've got my OneDrive, I've got my Google Drive, I've got my hard drive, I've got my external hard drive. I've got all my shit is in multiple places.
I end up sharing most of my stuff with like Connell just because it's like if mine crashes, he at least has a copy.
Yeah.
And if his crashes, I at least have a copy. So
yeah. So I mean, the last one I bought was the Cypher System. That was like $20 to $30. I
think that's what about too.
I might. I'm probably gonna get this one, but there's Delta Green one because that should kind of add to my collection.
Yeah.
And I'm gonna use
especially
it
to playing it.
Torture couch.
Okay, since we're on the topic of torturing players,
my favorite topic, by the way.
What do you, as a player, not as a GM, what do you like dread when it pops up in game? You're like, ugh, like even if it's a good thing, like, oh, this is done so well, it's a good story, but I freaking hate it. Like, what is that thing for you?
Puzzles, probably.
Really, not a puzzle guy.
Not a puzzle guy. Puzzles come up and I just think, fuck. And because, you know, it's... I kind of start getting frustrated, but also, even if I know the puzzle, I then have to figure out a way to justify it for my character in a way.
Yeah.
You know, and it just gets to the point, it's like, can we just break this and move on, sort of thing?
Yeah, I get that. That's always stressful when you, like, we talked about this a little bit, how as a player we know shit, and as a character it's like, how do I connect this, like, to my character? Yeah.
So how do you make that leap? Kind of going, oh, well, I know what's going on, but does this character? And so puzzles for me are the ones, like, the bit that I kind of, I won't say lose interest because that's unfair.
Yeah.
But I have to make a more conscious effort to kind of remain focused.
So do you, as a GM, avoid putting puzzles in your games?
I don't put that many puzzles in.
No? Okay.
No.
I actually don't think I put a mental puzzle in ish.
No, honestly, I don't really. I mean, puzzles for me normally are on a grander scheme. So rather than a puzzle in a room, the puzzle is probably a murder mystery, or
Yeah, that's
where-
how we run too. Yeah.
where everything you do builds towards a resolution. But doing the whole, you're in a room and there are 3, I don't know, fountains and all this. I struggle to find a right balance for that as a GM.
Oh.
Because I'm either going to make it too easy.
Yeah.
Or I'm going to overcompensate and make it completely fucking impossible.
Yeah. Yeah, I might have just killed my entire party now that I forgot about that. We switched systems and everything, and I threw them literally, like, we ended game as the screams of the, like, nomadic camp they were in erupted.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, it'll be fine. And I'm going, we haven't tested out these, like, this mechanics in Sister Lake.
Oh, there's one way to test them.
I just hope I didn't just kill everybody.
If you do, new characters, and let's carry the story. Let's move the story on.
I don't know. I don't know if I could pick up the story after. Well, I could figure something out. There's always a way to figure something out. Yeah.
Right, so shall we move on to the last call?
Yes, let's. What are we ranting about today?
We are
When
going
am
to
I rolling my sleeves up?
roll your sleeves up, because we're
Okay.
going to bitch about the overly detailed backstory that never comes up again.
Ah.
There we go. Get that barbarian rage out.
No, I'm rolling my sleeves up. Here's the thing. Like,
She's
It-
turning into a woo-woo.
I love detailed background as a GM and as a player. Love them. Like, the more into my character I get, the more I'm better at playing them. However, there is a line, and I don't even know where that line is, but it's there, you know. And like, it's just people go over it, and you're going, "Stop! This has nothing to do with game. Like, what are you doing?" Aw.
I'm the opposite to you. Don't like backstories. Not interested in
Really?
backstories. Don't write back.
Oh,
Don't get me
what's
wrong,
wrong with you?
I'll write a backstory, but it
Yeah.
will be very vague.
Really?
It'll be
So
very
you're-
vague.
You wrote a little snippet for inmates.
Yeah.
And I would have thought the complete opposite with how well that was written.
But that still is a very short window
True.
into what could be a massive backstory. That was a glimpse, as it were, and that glimpse didn't exist until I wrote it.